Okay, we're good to go. All right, hey everybody, we're back. Week 12 recap. 12 weeks down, 2 weeks left to go in the regular season. Only 2 weeks, pretty wild. Week 12, Shannon was our high score. I think it was just last week we were talking about how probably the really high-scoring games are behind us for the season because of injuries and buys and stuff like that. And then Shannon goes and drops like 200 points on poor Melissa. I mean, literally outscored Melissa by over 100 points this week, so she had absolutely zero shot. Yeah, it was a good week for some teams. It was a really bad week for a lot of teams, though. It's like the point differential. I mean, you, JT, Chris, and Shannon had like phenomenal weeks, and the rest of us just like pooped our pants. So, looking at the standings real quick here. Okay, you and Shannon have officially clinched a playoff spot. I mean, it was probably a given that like a bunch of us were going to make it, but you guys have officially clinched.
Oh, that's what that means. Little asterisk?
Yeah, the asterisk. And chances are, I think probably you guys have. It would be very difficult, I think, for you guys. Also, not to get off topic here, she still has $97 of her freaking fab left. I just saw this.
9 moves. That's
yeah, I mean that's just her team
insane.
has been. We were just talking about luck before we started filming here. Her team has been so healthy. I mean, I know Debo got banged up this week, but like she's basically sustained no injuries otherwise, and her players have just been healthy and they've been really good. So she's had effectively no duds, just solid week after solid week. She's still got like a 150-point lead on you, and you're in second, and you're like 50, 60 points ahead of me. So she's just absolutely. She's got over 200 points than me. You know what I mean? I'm in third place. Like, that's outrageous. So her team's just absolutely killing it. It's going to be hard to stop her. But yeah, you guys have clinched officially. I have a feeling it's going to be you two as the number 1 and 2 seeds because I'm the next one knocking, right? Simply because I'm in third. I have the third most points, but basically either assuming one of you guys is going to go 1-1 over this next stretch, right? Because you play each other in the last game, so you both can't go 2-0 this next stretch. You can go 1-1, and then the other person can go 2-0, but you can't both go 2-0. So, if I go 2-0, which based on the way my team is playing is most certainly not a given, I've got a chance of catching up to you guys in terms of win-losses. But I think at this point, I can't catch you guys in terms of points. My team just did so badly this week that you were able to pull. Last week we talked about there was like a 3-point difference between points, you and I. And now it's like 50. So I'm not catching up to that. I think you guys have pretty much locked in that first and second seed. I don't think anybody below me has a chance of catching you guys.
Scott's
55 points below me.
Melissa's. What does the points matter?
In terms of tiebreakers. So, like you and Shannon are the same record, right? But you're the second seed because you're 150 points behind her. So right. what I'm saying is, let's say I get the same record as you and Shannon. Let's say we both finish at, or all three of us finish at, we got 2 weeks left, 10-4, right? We're all 10-4 at the end of the season. Well, chances are you two are going to have more points than me because of the lead you already have on me. So you'll probably finish as the 1 and 2 seed where you are right now. So I'm the only one with even the slightest chance of catching either of you. Scott, I guess, has a slight chance too because he's only 1 win behind you guys. So if for some chance you both manage to lose the next 2 games, which again is impossible technically because one of you has to win week 12 or 14.
We can go 1 and 2.
You could both go
1 and 2.
1-1 or
including this week.
Right, I'm saying like there's 2 weeks left, right? Weeks 13 and 14, right?
That's right.
So
right,
you could both go 1-1 or 1-1 and 0-2 is potential, but one of you has to at least win a game over the next 2 weeks. So that basically means that it's impossible for anybody that's 7-5 or below to catch either of you. So it's pretty much just me and Scott with any chance, and he's too far behind in points. He's 100 points behind you. So it's probably not going to happen for him either. So chances are you've clinched playoffs. You've probably also clinched the first and second bye, which is awesome. That's going to be a good position to be in. So, okay, moving on. Let's talk about the matchups here. I want to jump into my matchup first because I want to give credit Chris some credit. Yeah, where credit is due, right? Because we've I don't want to say we made fun of his team, but maybe we've lightly made fun of
did.
his team at times. He dropped 145 points this week, right? So looking at what the scores were, that was the fourth highest point scored. So only you, JT, and Shannon scored more points than him this week. Everybody else was below. So I say that to also make myself feel a little bit better. But honestly, we said this also last week, or maybe I said it. His team's been kind of bottom of the barrel this season, but he's had a lot of weeks where he has not been the lowest scorer.
Nope.
There's been a lot of weeks where he's had 3 or 4 people below him in points. He just never got to play one of those people. Well, this was finally one of those weeks where he got to play one of those people, and that was me in my garbage team this week. So congrats to Chris. He did not have a winless season. He pulled a Detroit Lions here, pulled out a non-loss, in this case a win, and he proceeded to crush me. So not really much to talk about on my side. Everybody pretty much did horribly. Jonathan Taylor was the only one with a serviceable game. Deontay as well, I guess. Everybody else, Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift got hurt. Pittman got shut down. Cam Newton got pulled because he's garbage. So nothing more to say there. On Chris's side, Joe Mixon had a phenomenal game, his best game of the season, 165 yards, a couple touchdowns, a bunch of catches. J.D. McKissick for him had 2 touchdowns in the game last night before he had to get carted off. I didn't watch any of it, but apparently it looked pretty grisly, the injury. Even Randall Cobb, basically everybody on his team just was solid. Taylor Heineke as a quarterback didn't do much for him, but 145 points is very solid. That's a solid week. Again, that would have beat eight of the teams this week, I think. So you can't be too upset with 145. So I think that's all that really needs to be said about this game. So we'll move on, talk about Ashley and Scott. So Ashley's team is struggling too. I think her team is better than the points she's been scoring indicate. So real quick, going back to the standings, because she was for a long time in the top 6. She currently is not. So if the playoffs started today, 1 through 5 would obviously make it. 6 would be based on points. Which, funny enough, I'm seeing this for the first time.
Would be, yeah.
It's 3 of them are within a point of each other. Yeah, Jimmy would be 6th place with 1583. But look at Justin and Ashley.
Yep.
0.06 is what separates Justin and Ashley right now. And only 1 point separates them from Jimmy. So the 3 of them are neck and neck. That just means these next 2 weeks are going to be really critical for them. They gotta try to put up the most amount of points they can.
Ashley this week.
Yeah, which it doesn't matter. At this point, she's playing for points. She's not playing for wins because wins don't help her. Wins are not going to get her in the playoffs probably. She's not going to usurp Melissa's 7 and 5, right? I guess if Melissa goes 0 and 2 and Ashley goes 2 and 0, they could have the same record. But most likely, she's probably not taking one of those 1 to 5 spots. She's got to score points. So it's all about just creating the best lineup, which obviously you try to do anyways every week, right? But that's what she needs to shoot for. So, I think her team, again, is better than it indicates. George Kittle, 2.3 points, 1 catch for 13 yards. That's terrible. She's missing Hopkins, who was on a bye. She's missing Kamara. Hopefully she gets both those guys back this week. That'll really help her. She just had a lot of just crappy dud performances across the board. Nobody really worth talking about. A lot of disappointment there. Other side of the ball, Scott, Josh Allen killed it, had 4 touchdowns in this game. Thielen had a couple touchdowns. His guys didn't do a whole lot either. Chubb got shut down against us. We saw that obviously with Kareem Hunt. Baltimore. Do you know Baltimore's rushing defense is top 2 or 3 or 4 or something like that? That explains why Chubb and Hunt got shut down. I didn't realize that either until after the game. We had to make that Gordon Hunt decision, and Gordon only put up 9 points anyway, so I don't think it would have helped us get a W. But Scott did have Elijah Mitchell on the bench. Elijah Mitchell, man, him and Cordero have got to be the waiver wire pickups of the year, right? Who else is out there that would be a candidate for that? Kind of this year's James Robinsons.
Couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, I couldn't either. Nobody else really worth mentioning on his team. Chubb had a dud. Montgomery got shut down against Detroit. That's fine. He still won. So he is currently 4th place. Most likely going to get a playoff spot. It'd be very unlikely for him to lose out of a playoff spot at this point. I think he's been in the playoffs all 3 years. Kate was in, I think, twice. Ashley twice, maybe. He might be the only one that will have been in all 3 years. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I feel like that's the case. All right, let's move on and talk about Justin and Jimbo's game here. So Jimmy lost here. On Justin's side of the ball, Rodgers, good game. 3 touchdowns here. One he rushed in himself. Gronk had another phenomenal game. It had been a while, right? Yeah, okay. He had 13 points last week in his first week back. Man, Gronk's so good. He missed like 6 weeks, and I bet you he's still probably like a top 10 tight end on the season. Landry had a good game. Oops, just hit a button here. Diggs, good game as well. Touchdown, 7 catches, 74 yards. Look at the Cincy defense, man. How about Cincy sweeping Pittsburgh?
Bye, Ben.
Yeah,
you're done.
I really hope the Steelers don't get like it's all fun and games that Ben is trash now and the Steelers are trash, but they're going to make a move that's going to be like super smart and they're going to get somebody. They're going to pick up a quarterback that I don't know. They're going to get Tua or something, right? And Tua on the Steelers would be scary in my opinion.
I don't think Tua goes anywhere.
No, probably not. I'm just saying, like, they could get a guy like Tua caliber.
You saying next year?
Yeah, next year. Because Ben's done, right? Like, they're not going to bring Ben back next year. Although the thing is Mason Rudolph isn't any better. Dwayne Haskins isn't even better. So if their options are keep Ben, you think one of those guys is better than Ben?
I would say, yeah. At this point in his career, he can't even move.
No, he can never move all that well, but yeah, he definitely can't move now. So we'll see. But anyways, they got shut down since he had a good game there. So looking at Jimmy's side of the ball here, Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions. He was trying to keep pace with Lamar Jackson. Could not get that 4th interception to fully keep pace there. Justin Jefferson, down game. Mike Williams has been mediocre. Myles Gaskin had another good game here, 2 touchdowns. Kendrick Bourne, 2 touchdowns. And that's pretty much all we need to talk about there on his side of the ball. Odell in his second game, right? This was his second game starting for the Rams. 10 targets, 5 catches for 81 and a touchdown. That's pretty good. I mean, I can see here in the game log. That's more points than he's scored at all this season with the Browns, fantasy points. So already second weekend, he's a better fantasy asset with the Rams than he ever was with the Browns. So that's good to see there. Lamar Jackson on his bench still would have been the better play, even with 4 picks, which is pretty funny. Bad game for both those guys. Let's move on. Let's talk about the next game here. Talk about old Henry and JT. Man, you want to talk about somebody who had a bad week? Let's talk about Henry here, huh?
60 points.
Yeah, 60 points. That may be a season low. I'm not sure. I'd have to vet that. He only had two positions score double digits. So it was Keenan Allen and Joe Burrow. And if your quarterback doesn't score double digits like mine didn't, then he really sucks. So McCaffrey gone for the year. That sucks. That's still, we talked about this, I think, last week. Where does McCaffrey get drafted next year?
Not 101.
Definitely not 101. Is he top 5?
Yeah, probably.
I still think he's top 5?
He's definitely like top 8 running backs for sure.
Would you touch him?
It's the same thing with Dalvin Cook. It's like, I'm not taking him top 5.
So, if you have the 7th pick and McCaffrey's there, do you take him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 6th pick?
Let's see. I would take Kamara over him. I would take probably Taylor. I'd probably take Najee.
Yeah. Henry. I would take Henry over him.
Henry easily. That's 4.
I don't think I would take Dalvin over him. I think Dalvin's starting to be on the decline.
I think they both are. I'd probably still take Zeke. I would. Saquon should not even be a 2nd round pick.
I'm not sure if I would take Zeke over McCaffrey, honestly. For me, it's like some of these guys, they'd have to fall very far for me to grab them, and I'm not sure how far that is yet. But unfortunately, I mean, I think I saw on a tweet yesterday that of the Panthers' last 33 games, or of the 33 games played since McCaffrey signed his contract, he's only played in 23 of the 33 games. Opposite. He's only played in 10 of the 33 games since he signed that monster contract. So he's obviously missed an enormous amount of time after, cashing in.
Have you seen? He has like over 700 snaps in 2 years. Like,
yeah.
That's just not sustainable.
Yeah, and we thought, Henry was like the, the exception to the rule there, but look at him. He's out for the season too.
Well,
so
that's an unlucky injury. That's just
Well, they're all kind of unlucky injuries, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, he's had 2 this year. His
yeah,
his hamstring, and then now it's his ankle, or
right.
I
So
guess
you
it's
could
his
definitely argue
third.
McCaffrey's injury prone. It's too early to say if Derrick Henry's going to be. I feel like at some point these guys, their bodies break. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Like at some
for
point
sure.
you can be healthy, healthy, healthy. Okay, you get injured once, and then it's like, it's like it's never the
Look at
same after
look at
that.
Julio.
Look at Julio. Look at Saquon. Look at McCaffrey. Like there's countless examples of times where guys have gotten hurt and they never come back fully healthy. Now there's plenty of examples too where somebody gets hurt and then they come back and they're fine.
AP.
Yeah, AP. All kinds of guys you can make the argument for. I mean, look at Joe Mixon. He was banged up all last season and he's crushing it this season. So,
He's banged up 2 years in a row, right?
yeah, I mean, he's always been kind of perpetually injured, and now this year he's fine. Um, so that sucks for Henry. He loses McCaffrey. At least he's still got Clyde healthy. He's got Kareem Hunt, who is kind of healthy. I know he got held out of this game at the end there with a sort of re-aggravation of his
Well, they
whatever.
said his calf tightened,
Yeah,
but
exactly. So
Stefanski
maybe it's not a
said,
big deal, but like you don't like to hear that after he was just out because of his calf, right? So
yeah.
it's a little bit worrisome. So,
Well,
anyways,
with Cook being out, he has Madison on his bench. So that's like a top
yeah, that's true.
five.
Yeah, but Dalvin might only be out for what, a week or two, 2 weeks? Is that
So
what you're projecting? Yeah,
yeah, 1 or
sure.
2.
They play Detroit and
Detroit
Pittsburgh, so Detroit's a good matchup.
and Nixon just dominated that
Yeah,
defense.
yeah. So we'll see how that works out. I definitely think he'll be a good play, Madison. So you're right. He's got somebody to replace McCaffrey at least for 2 weeks, but because Henry's still in the running too, right? He's in seventh place right now with 6 wins.
Yeah, but he's
He's
1,400
yeah,
points.
he's
I
far
don't think he
behind in
has
the
a
points, so
chance.
he's got to climb into the top 5 in order to make a playoff spot, which isn't out of the question because he's only 1 win behind Melissa. So not impossible for Henry to make a run at this point, but also not a lock-in for sure. On the other side here, we'll talk about JT's team. Really good game here. Stafford, I know he threw a pick 6 in this game for the 3rd game in a row. But he had 3 touchdowns. He had over 300 yards. Overall good fantasy game here. Hunter Renfro, solid game, 8 catches for 134 yards. Like to see that. I know Zeke got kind of pulled from this game. I think a little bit. He was having some issues. Came back. I don't know. I didn't follow too much, but I do think Zeke's starting to wear out. I really do. I don't think I would touch Zeke next year. I think he's just. It's like I don't want Dalvin anymore because I think Dalvin's probably on the like these guys. They reach a certain age and they're just never going to be as good as they once were. And I think these guys are approaching that point. I don't know how old they are, but I know they've both been in the league now for 4, 5, 6 years. So
You said you would take Saquon over him?
no, not Saquon. I mean
Okay.
Saquon's younger, but
He's had some
actually,
bad injuries.
I would definitely consider Saquon over Zeke next year.
Oh,
I'm
that's
not sure I would take
crazy.
either, but I would possibly put Saquon above Zeke. Um, Jamal Williams had a good game here after Swift got hurt. Gibson, oh look at this, Gibson had a great game here. 7 catches, 35 yards. This was, I guess, a product of J.D. McKissick going out. Lockett, almost 100 yards on 3 catches. Did you like to
Actually,
see that?
McKissick took both touchdowns.
He did. So Gibson had 26 points on no touchdowns, just a bunch of yards, a bunch of catches. So,
Yep.
um, I don't think I've heard anything about the severity of J.D. McKissick's injury, but if he's out, Gibson gets a huge bump.
It was weird. His helmet hit the dude's quad
Oh, is that what it was?
when he was falling. Yeah,
Oh, that's a
and
little
then
weird.
it hit the ground.
Apparently, he was in some serious pain. So, JT's team, definitely, JT's team is way better than his record indicates. He should have, he's got more points than Henry. I guess that's really it, other people above him. But, he's not, he's got 80 more points, almost 90 more points than Henry, who's got 2 more wins than him. So, and Henry's in the playoff contention. So, kind of sucks for JT. Moving on, let's talk about Melissa's game here, where she got blown out by 106 points by Shannon. Real quick, talk about Melissa's side of the ball here. AJ Dillon, you talked about, had a good game. Aaron Jones played this, didn't he? He was kind of a decoy, though, right?
Yeah.
So good game from him. Josh Jacobs had a good game, and they're winning over Dallas. That's it pretty much. She had to play Jimmy G because Kyler's was on bye, but also still banged up.
He played Sutton because Hill was on bye.
Yeah,
And AJ Green.
this was a big bye week for her. So after this week, she's going to be back to, she's going to have a lot of people she can play. Kyle Pitts been really disappointing this year, considering he's really the only one besides Cordero Patterson on that team who can catch the ball. but that team's just kind of doo-doo all around, right? So what can you do?
Well, teams know to double team Pitts.
Yeah, just cover
No
him.
Ridley, so.
And yeah, exactly. What are you going to do?
To.
And I don't think they're getting Ridley back this year. So
I don't either.
Bad game from Najee, but again,
I got some words to say to Ridley. Got a problem with him.
Yeah, my trade with JT looks worse and worse like every week because
Yeah.
Darrell Henderson's always like half injured, and Ridley's gone, and then now Gibson has like all this opportunity, and CeeDee's looking good, and Lockett's looking better with Russell back, even though Russell looks like crap. Like
That's really bad.
That trade, he's not good. Shannon's side of the ball here. I mean, pick your player here. Everybody did well, right? We talked about Henry's team where only 2 people had double digits, and in Shannon's case, only 1 person didn't have double digits. And she, really had nobody else she could have played in that spot anyway. So, hey, this is funny. She's doing all this with Antonio Brown basically out.
I was about to say, yeah.
Like, if she had AB playing the way AB was in those first, 5-6 weeks.
Her team's unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean,
literally.
Fournette had 3 touchdowns in this game, 100 rushing yards. He had 7 catches. I'm not sure how many receiving yards, but Eckler had a good game. Devontae Adams had a good game. Debo had a good game. I know Debo got hurt. Did you see this though? Debo had 21 points in this game, but he had 1 catch. He had 1 single catch.
When did he turn running back?
He may be the best running back on the team. I'm not sure if it's him or Elijah Mitchell.
He looks
but
really good when he runs.
He does. When does he get? Okay, if there's any player, how Cordero, does he still have the wide receiver running back designation? When is Debo going to get that? Right? Why doesn't Debo qualify for that? Because if there's a player that fits that mold more than Debo, I don't know who it is. Because they use him as a running back a bunch. I don't know how many carries he got.
I think it's who Debo now. But I think it's based on the depth chart, right? Like if they list you as a running back and receiver.
Maybe.
Is that how that is?
I don't know. You probably know more about it than me, but
I got no clue.
Yeah, he's got. I'd like to know how many rushing touchdowns he has versus receiving, because he only has.
I don't know why they don't show the whole thing.
4.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's annoying. The app is better than this, but he only has 4 receiving touchdowns on the 5. Sorry, 5 receiving touchdowns on the year, and he had 2 rushing in this game, so it's possible that he's close in rushing and receiving touchdowns, which is just wild. He's so good. Fournette, we talked about. Mark Andrews, I think he pretty much had that 1 catch. Was the catch the touchdown? The catch that was sort of like there was like a pass interference call, and it was that a touchdown? I didn't actually watch that part of the game. Mark Andrews.
No, he was just for some reason just like wide-ish open.
Okay. Yeah. Did you see somebody tweeted and I know they've used this for like Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, but they tweeted the picture of Lamar throwing the ball and it says like "F it, Andrews down there somewhere," and Lamar saw it and he responded to it, and just like a laughing emoji or something. But yeah, I mean that's his guy, right? Okay, moving on for this game. Shannon's crushing it. I don't think we need to say much about this. Our weekly high score for I think the 4th time this season. So 12 weeks in, she's been the high scorer a third of the weeks. Don't need to say much more than that. Moving on here, Kate and Chad. That would be you. So Kate, I don't know if she's broken 100 points for like the past 6 weeks. That just goes hand in hand. Jalen Waddle had a good game though. How about this? He had a touchdown, 137 yards. Mm-hmm. He's actually had some good games this season. He's been up and down, but given how bad the team's kind of been overall, I feel like Jalen Waddle's playing pretty well. He's probably. I'd actually be curious to know because Jamar Chase has been really bad lately. Basically, since he played us, he's not been as good. Where he blew up. I'd be curious to know which of the rookie wide receivers finishes first. At the end of the season, like it's not going to be Donta Smith. It's pretty much between Waddle and Jamar Chase, I think. But
Jamar.
Yeah, he probably does. He's on the better offense, but I bet in points scored they're probably close. I would be curious to know. He's ranked number 17 right now. Let me see where Jamar Chase is, real quick.
That's his number.
Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, where do I see his wide receiver ranking? Because I'd like to know that.
I don't know.
44. Okay, he's ranked 44. I gotta find Melissa's game because she has him. Melissa, here we go. Okay. Okay, so Jamar Chase is 27 and Jalen Waddle's 44.
Smoking him.
And that's I think overall ranking, like all offensive players. I'm not sure why they do it that way, but yeah, so they're not as close as I thought. Anyways, the rest of our team garbage. Giovanni Bernard, Dallas Goddard had one catch, no yards, just a catch. That's all he did. I love when she has to play Singletary because Singletary is just garbage.
Yeah, you
Like in a
comment on every
game,
time. It's
right?
funny.
It's because like in the game where they scored 31 points and held the Saints to 6, and they didn't even start Zach Moss. Zach Moss was inactive, and Singletary gets 6 points. Like this is why I don't want those guys. I just don't like them. I don't want them. I don't care how talented they are. They're useless on that team. And nobody else on your team worth talking about. Russell Wilson's poopy. So on your side, why don't you tell us about your team here?
The biggest person who scored the most was Cordell Patterson, 30 points, which
Yeah,
is
how about
hilarious to
that?
me.
I know.
He averaged like 6 yards per carry, and he's like pretty oldish. So, but I love
Is
it,
he
right?
old?
Yeah, he used to be he's like one of the best kick returners of all time.
He was with the Bears, but only I thought for a few years. I don't know. I'd be curious to know how old he is exactly, but yeah, he is.
I don't know.
He's killing
I
it.
thought he was older. I thought he was
Maybe he
older.
is. I just thought he was like. I thought I remember him being a rookie for the Bears like 3 or 4 years ago. I could be totally wrong about that.
You could be right.
But yeah, he's
Anyway,
killing it. I'd like to know how many receiving touchdowns he has because he only has 4 rushing, but I know he has a bunch of receiving, doesn't he?
he probably has like at least 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have Herbert with almost a 30-point game. They were trailing almost the entire game. I don't know. They might be kind of overrated. They had some really fluky games with this powerhouse of an offense. Darnell Mooney, he's easily the best receiver on that team without a
Yep.
doubt, and he's definitely the most targeted, which sucks. I think Robinson's still definitely the most talented one, but A, he's injured, and 2, I think this Matt Nagy hates him.
Yeah, there's something there. There's something with that situation with Allen Robinson. I don't really understand it. Even before the injury, he was just ignored.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook got hurt in this game. We talked about it. Tore his or injured his. I always want to call it a labia. I always want to say labia, and I don't.
Labrum.
It's the labrum, but for some reason, labia is always the word that
Actually,
pops into my mind.
that's way
Um,
too.
but yeah, he injured his other labrum, right? So both his shoulders are like fucked up. Um,
Well, apparently Mike Zimmer said he doesn't have it, but who knows if that's just like coach talk
yeah,
or something.
I mean they seem confident he would be back soon, so it's probably just maybe a pain management thing. Cooper Cup, kind of a crappy week here, only 19 points. Um, he's had a couple games worse than that of the season, but still
Here's the
10
thing, right?
targets.
I I will take someone with a floor of
Oh,
18 points any
absolutely,
day.
100%. Yeah.
So
I'm not saying he had like that's a down week for him. That's a down week
yeah,
for Cooper Cup is 19 points, and I'll take that any day of the week. Give me that guy over the Tyler Lockett's who'll get you 3 points one week and then like 30 the next. Like I want the floor of 19.
I think he
Um,
goes top 3 next year receivers.
yeah, Devontae, him, Debo. We kind of talked about this a couple shows ago. Don't really want to
Yeah,
go through it too much, but yeah, you're probably right. He's definitely got to be up there. Um, everybody else on your team, I mean, there wasn't a guy on your team who really disappointed. So
well
all
Terry did.
around, oh yeah, actually surprised by that. Only
He
4 catches.
he always has bad quarterbacks, and it's just so
Yeah, it's
frustrating.
like yeah, I mean that's what it is. He suffers because of bad quarterback play. If he had a solid quarterback, things would be different. I'm not sure they're going to be able to remedy that in the offseason. I'd be curious to see what they do because I don't think they're going to get Fitzpatrick back. I don't think Tyneke's the answer. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. But anyways, okay, you took your matchup there. So that's week 12 in the bag. Real quick, back to the standings. I sort of glossed over this quickly, but you and Shannon are only 9-3 teams. Scott and I are 8-4. Melissa 7-5. Justin and Henry 6-6. Jimmy down at 5-7. Ashley at 5-7. JT and Kate 4-8, and then Chris with his first win this week, 1-11.
There you
So
go.
2 more weeks here until the playoffs start. Um, I think the top 5 right now, I don't think they're going anywhere. I think top 5 right now are going to be the top 5 in 2 weeks. Would you agree with that?
Here's the thing. Well, Justin's versing Chris. So
Now,
oh
Chris just
wait,
outscored Justin this week, so bearing that in mind.
yeah, and I just realized Chris is. I guess we'll wait till later, but Justin's missing two pieces, so three. So actually, we'll see. I would, yeah, I'd say for the most part, I would say, I think top four. Melissa seems meh. I guess we'll see if Kyler comes back because that'll be huge.
Yeah. Well, she's got Zach
Uh,
Ertz, who's been pretty good. Um, I think she stays locked in. I think she stays at 5. I don't think Justin usurps her. So then the question is, who do you think gets, the 6th seed? I think it's only between 3 teams, right? It's between Justin, Jimmy, and Ashley, right?
well, I don't think it's Jimmy. Sorry, Jimmy.
Yeah, even though he's there right now, right? Like if season ended, it would be Jimmy. But I
I would
agree with that.
say either Justin or Ashley.
I think if Ashley can get Kamara back and Hopkins, even though Hopkins hasn't been like great this season, if she can get those two guys back this week, then
She
she
just
has a
needs points.
good shot. She just needs points, right? Exactly. That's all she needs, and those two guys can give her points that she desperately needs. Some of her guys have had like just unusually down weeks too, like Tom Brady and some of our other people. So, anyways, let's jump into the Week 13 preview here. Um, we'll just start at the top here with my matchup. I haven't even looked at my anything yet, but I got a couple things on by here. DeAndre Swift, I guess, is projected not to play. I guess my team's going to get a mess
I
this
think
week.
so.
I don't think there's any way I can beat Henry. Simply because of I know he's just lost McCaffrey, but like I don't even know if I can start a full roster this week because I've got 3 dudes currently in that may or may not play. That being Sanders, Swift, and Henderson.
So I think he's. I thought he was already ruled out.
And maybe he is. He's still listed as questionable here, but he's probably not going to play. Of
Yeah,
those
it is.
3, he's probably the least likely to play. Um, Sanders has, at least he gets the Jets. That's a super solid matchup. If he
Yeah.
plays, right? Um, Daryl Henderson has Jacksonville, which is a good matchup, even though they've been better. It's like if I can't, I'm not worried about quarterback and defense. I'll probably be dropping Cam Newton. But yeah, my team's just really hurting right now. It's just banged up. I've got a bunch of dudes on my bench who are doing nothing for me. Calvin Ridley and Michael Carter and Sterling Shepard's been out for weeks and weeks and weeks. So even with Henry's team also kind of banged up, his team's healthier than mine. So I'm going to give this one to Henry. I think I'm going to really struggle here these next 2 weeks. I still think I'll make the playoffs simply because the points have accumulated up to this point. But so I'm just kind of hoping at this point. I think that my team can get healthy by week 15. So I can hopefully clear the first round of the playoffs, but we'll see. Um, my team is definitely better earlier in the season, so um, yeah, I think unless you have anything to add here, I'm going to give this one to Henry.
I think it's closer because Devontae Hurts. Who knows if Hurts is even playing, right? Because Minshew might be playing, so we don't know what he's been doing. And
Okay.
Judy has not been good either because Bridgewater's some poop. Um, Clyde, if he didn't score that touchdown, he really didn't do anything. And Denver's run defense isn't bad. Godwin, that's a juicy matchup. Keenan, that's a good matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, he has some players, but I mean, you still have Taylor against Houston. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Pittman, Deontay honestly might ball out against us because we are terrible against the pass.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you're
Yeah.
gonna start. Wentz might be a good play.
Yeah, I'm starting Wentz 100%. I can't not start him anymore.
Yeah, I've been wanting you to start for the last 2 weeks.
Every time I like go out and read something, like, oh, start, it's time to start Tannehill. Time to start
See,
Cam
but that's
Newton.
why I don't even listen to them because I hate when they say that stuff. They're like jinxing
Yeah,
it almost.
right, exactly. Yeah, Carson's just been so consistent. He'll get me 20 points pretty much every week. So, um, except for 2 of the last 3, but outside of those 2, he's been really consistent. So, yeah, he'll go in my lineup for sure. All right, let's talk about your game against Ashley here. Let's see. So she's got DJ Moore out. Um, what we talked about. Hopefully, she'll have Hopkins back after the bye. Hopefully she'll have. I think Kamara's been practicing. I think I saw that.
Yeah, he's trending upward.
So she should have both those guys back. She can kick Ramondre out of her lineup. She can kick, DJ Moore out of her lineup, and then start Los Angeles defense is going to be a pretty good play. Her team's going to be pretty solid this week if she gets those two guys back. Tom Brady against Atlanta is juicy. So I like her team a lot, with the exception of like maybe Jacoby Myers doesn't have a great matchup. Um, your side of the ball here, you've got some good matchups too. I mean, Cooper Kupp against Jacksonville is phenomenal. Justin Herbert against Cincy, that could be a shootout. Honestly, that should be a good game. You've got. Are you starting David Johnson?
I got no other running backs to play.
Okay,
so,
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I mean, you know what though? Like, he hasn't been great, but 10 carries, 13 carries. I don't know how many receptions he's been getting, but
he's been pretty dookie.
It's only him and what's the other dude left? Rex Burkhead. Rex Burkhead's even worse than David Johnson. So
I don't know.
They're both bad. I mean, they're both bad on a bad team,
terrible.
But it's pick your turd, really. Damian Harris against Buffalo is a tough matchup.
Yeah, I kind of give it to Ashley unless I can get the waivers that I want. I mean, losing AJ Brown and Dalvin Cook just really hurts
I mean
that's
team. Your first and third round pick? Oh, was he second round?
Second.
Okay. Yeah. I mean that sucks. It's hard to come back sometimes from that. But
those were supposed to be my upside players, and what do you know? They're both banged up. So,
yeah. Honestly, I don't know. I don't really know who to give this one to. I think it's 50-50. I really do. Because you just have some of your guys have huge upside, and some of her guys do too. But she's got Brandon Cooks, Elijah Moore, and like Jacoby Myers, and it's like, are you really gonna get a huge game from any of those three dudes? So
you could.
I mean,
but like you also couldn't.
Yeah, right. Like I mean, Brandon Cook's best games were like 23 points, and he hasn't done that in a while. Elijah Moore's had like a 32-point game, but Zach Wilson's poop. Is Zach Wilson gonna play?
I hope not.
Yeah, if he doesn't play, then Elijah Moore could be really good.
Sorry. Then I wanted to play.
Yeah, right. So we'll see. I think this is very even. I'm not sure who to call up between at this point. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I mean, Tom Brady against Atlanta, that should be like a 5 touchdown.
Yeah, or it could just be Leonard Fournette carrying the ball for 3 touchdowns. You know what I mean?
So,
it's just hard to say. But Leonard Fournette doing that helps Shannon, which hurts. Yeah, it doesn't really. I guess it doesn't
hurt me at all.
It doesn't really hurt you. Yeah. Because you're already up there anyway. So okay, let's talk about the next matchup here. Yeah, Justin and Chris. So Justin's got who's he playing at QB this week? Let's see who's got down there.
Someone on the waiver wire.
I'll find somebody serviceable who will get him 20 points probably.
I don't know.
I'm not sure who's out there, but I'm sure there's somebody you can pick up, right? Maybe, possibly.
You want a Bridgewater? You want Big Ben? What do you want?
Is that what's out there? Is there nobody else? Oof. Okay.
Not that I can think of.
Wow. All right. Well, then that's going to be tougher than I thought. He's got Devontae Parker in his lineup, who's on IR. Is there something I missed? He hasn't been out 3 weeks.
No, he has.
1, 2, 3. Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay, so has he been activated? Is he like?
No.
No, it says
he's just hoping, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it may have done that automatically. So then, like, he can flex Gesicki, I guess. Ooh, his lineup's looking rough this week. Devonta Freeman's been like not great. Emmanuel Sanders has been not great. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to give this one to Chris. Honestly, he's got Mahomes back, and hopefully Mahomes has a better game than he's had recently. Jamal Williams without Swift against Minnesota is a pretty good play.
He still has Marlon Mack on his team.
Yeah, I know. He's got yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. I want to give this one to Chris, not just because he whooped my ass this past week, but partially because he just whooped my ass this past week. But Justin's lineup does not look good right now. I mean, outside of James Conner plays Chicago, that's not a good matchup. Like Mike Evans has a good matchup, but Diggs against New England, aren't they just going to take Diggs away? Are they going to shut him down? Like,
I hope not.
Who on his team besides maybe Gronk and maybe Evans instills a lot of confidence in you? Anybody?
No, not really.
Yeah. Whereas like Chris has got mixing against the Chargers. The Chargers give up a ton of. They welcome running backs to rush on them. J.D. McKissick, he's gonna have to find a sub in there, which he might not have a second running back. Jordan Howard. Oh no, he'll put Jamal Williams in. That's right. So Chris has to do some cleanup here too. He's got some holes to fill, but I honestly think Chris could get the win this week.
He could. For sure.
If Tony's healthy, Tony got 12 targets at week 11. I know he's been hurt.
He's droppable.
You think Tony's droppable?
Yeah. If honestly, really, if we had someone else, I would drop him.
I think when he's healthy, he's their best option. He's like Galladay looks like poop. And they usually hyper target Tony when he's there, if he's there. So.
Did you see that Daniel Jones might not play?
Yeah, I did see that. So, who's their backup?
Mike Lennon. He's the one who threw to Tony's best game.
Okay, there you go.
Dallas.
So could work out. My vote's gonna be Chris, if for nothing else and to be different. But let's move on to our next matchup here. Looks like it is JT and Kate. All right, so is Amari Cooper coming back this week? Has he missed 2 weeks now, or was this only his first week he missed?
Apparently, no. He's missed 2 games. Apparently, he has a cough, so if he doesn't practice tomorrow, he's going to be out.
Oh, okay. That's wow, 3 weeks in a row, man, that sucks. Do these guys get paid when they miss for COVID? I don't think they know that.
You know what? Maybe not, because you can easily get vaccinated. I don't think you do get paid.
That's why I feel like you shouldn't. You shouldn't get paid if you aren't vaccinated.
That's your choice. COVID. That's your risk.
Yeah, it's your risk, and you're risking forfeiting your game day paycheck. JT side, Stafford been good. Renfro's a good volume play. He gets CD back this week after the concussion. Zeke against New Orleans, not a great matchup there. Gibson, if McKissick's out, I think Gibson's a phenomenal play. Javonte Williams is always hit or miss with Melvin Gordon there. Kate's lineup here. Jalen Waddle's got a good matchup. Galladay's just been really bad. Barkley's got a good matchup. Singletary is going to do absolutely nothing against New England. Travis Kelce, of course, is going to be solid. I'm not sure who she's going to sub in for Amari Cooper if Amari Cooper's out. Yeah, I give it to JT as well. Kate's got a lot of mediocrity on her team.
She could put in Sony Michel if Daryl doesn't go. And that could be
decent. Yeah, there's been games where Daryl Henderson's been out for a big chunk of the game, and Sony's never had more than 11 points. So I would not expect more than around that for Sony, even against Jacksonville, even if he's the only dude. So yeah, I give this one to JT as well. We'll move on and talk about the next matchup here. That would be Melissa and Jimbo. So again, I don't think it really matters. Jimmy's not really playing for wins. He's really just playing for points, right? Him, Justin, and Ashley, that's kind of what we said. They're really working on points there. So Melissa, hopefully she has Kyler back this week. Hopefully for her sake. Loses A.J. Dillon to a bye, unfortunately, but Jamar Chase, Tyreek's back. Najee against us should be better game than he had last week. Kyle Pitts, I don't expect much there. Zach Ertz, yep, fine. Would you play A.J. Green over anybody? Would you do any moves there with A.J. Green or leave him on the bench?
Probably put him over Beasley, maybe?
Yeah, that's probably what I would do as well. Although Beasley could potentially have a good game if they shut down Diggs. Maybe he's the guy instead. But I would probably play A.J. Green. So, looking at Jimmy's team here, he's got either Lamar or Jalen Hurts, who may or may not play. Both could be good. Jalen Hurts has the New York Jets, so that could be a good matchup. Mike Williams has been bad. Myles Gaskin has been hit or miss. So Melvin Gordon, same. Darren Waller is doubtful. Yeah, I give this one to Melissa too. I don't think
Ty Johnson's butt.
Oh, I just realized he's starting Ty Johnson. Yeah.
Waller's not going to play, so he needs a new tight end.
Yeah. Does he have a backup tight end? No,
nope.
He doesn't. He does not. So I'll have to go find somebody on waivers. I should note, I think the last day for the trade deadline is this Saturday, I think, the 4th. So no more trades after that.
Pretty late.
Yeah, I set it to the latest possible because, why not? I mean, what the hell?
It's fun.
Yeah, it's more fun. All right, last matchup is yours against Oh, wait, that's last week. That's last week, sorry. Yep. Scott and Shannon here. All right, this should be a good matchup here.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one.
I mean, they got a lot of talent here, both of these players, or both these guys. taking a quick look at Scott's bench, see if there's anybody down there I'd play. No, I mean, would you keep? He's got a lot of guys on his team. I'm not sure if I would keep like Naeem Hines, Jeff Wilson, and Khalil Herbert. I mean, the question is always who do you pick up when you drop these guys? Because there's nobody to pick up, then just keep them anyways, right? But I mean, would you still stash any of those three?
I would keep Wilson if Mitchell gets hurt because oh no, McKinnon's on the 49ers. Never mind. Who's their
No,
third running back?
McKinnon left, right?
Yeah, he's on the Chiefs. He went on IR. I thought he was still on 49ers.
It's Trey Sermon's there, but he.
Oh, that's right. No, he's banged up. So if Mitchell gets injured, then Wilson's the only dude. If anything, I would potentially drop Bateman next week if he does another dud.
Okay, interesting.
Hines, I would drop. Sorry, Herbert, I would drop.
Yeah.
I would. What's Hines'
schedule? They're all handcuffs. All three of those dudes. I mean, Naeem Hines is not getting enough work. Like he had that one game in week 9 where he blew up because he had like a couple of really long runs and a touchdown or two.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's gotten 1 carry, 4 carries, 2 carries. Like Jonathan Taylor is the guy. He's getting the targets. He's getting everything. So all three of those dudes are nothing but handcuffs. And you
can drop them if there's someone you can
exactly right, and there might not be because the waiver wire's thin. So he's got Chubb on bye this week, which sucks for him. But the rest of his lineup's still pretty solid. He's got some good running back depth. I like a lot of his guys. Shannon on the other side here. So they're calling Debo doubtful. So chances are he's not playing. Devontae's on a bye. So Shannon's got to make some moves here. She's got to sub in a couple players most likely. I mean, who's she moving up? Who are you putting in? Like Christian Kirk, sticking him in. They have AB with projected points, but I don't think AB is coming back this week, right? I haven't seen anything to that effect.
I'm not sure.
It says there's some optimism that he'll suit up, but I just
who knows what that means?
I have my doubts that if they do, that it might be a snap count kind of thing. So
I don't think they need them against Atlanta.
No, that's exactly why I feel like they're just not going to do anything. Just let them rest, bring him back for the playoffs or whatever. Like let him get healthy fully. So Christian Kirk and who else is she bringing up? Because she's going to need.
Honestly, you probably just bring you need 2 people.
2 people to replace Debo and Devontae.
Kirk and then
Mike Davis. No, you're not playing Mike Davis against Tampa Bay. Yeah, Kenyon Drake.
Maybe Conklin because Detroit's an easy matchup.
Okay, I could get on board with that. Doesn't get a ton of targets, but he gets touchdowns every once in a while. So either way, it's going to be a tough spot for her to fill. She's still going to have Fournette and Andrews and Eckler and Dak, and she's still going to have some solid people. But I actually think I'm going to give this one to Scott this week. I think he's got the upper hand.
I was going to agree.
Just because her team's kind of we were just talking about at the beginning of the show that her team's been like healthy. This is like the first week where we can actually say she's affected by injuries because she's obviously lost Debo.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, I mean she's not. You could also make the argument that look she's been without AB for like 6 weeks, but AB was also a 9th round pick. Like when your 9th round pick gets hurt, it's not a devastating thing, right? Even when he was as good as he was. So
yeah.
I don't call that her team being injured, but up until then, her team's been super healthy. So, she's had some pretty good injury luck as far as things go. So, anyways, I think that takes care of our Week 13 previews here. 2 more weeks. We talked about almost to the playoffs. It'd be interesting to see what happens once we get there. So, Chad, unless you have anything else to add?
Nope.
All right, then. Well, good luck, everybody. We'll see you next week. Peace.